Hello, this is Alex at the Stadium. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2020, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some Dungeons and Dragons. So, Dungeons and Dragons is filled with a world, or in some cases, many worlds, with a huge variety of monsters and enemies and threats that adventurers can come across, which in part creates the need for adventurers. Lots of the world is not literal dungeons, even though it's in the name, just as lots of the world is not just dragons, even though it's in the name. But today I want to talk about things that are both dungeons and dragons. So, the different types of chromatic dragons, so like black dragons, blue dragons, green dragons, so on and so forth, they all have what are called layers. Each of these powerful dragons has a layer that it or its kin reside in. In Lord of the Rings, for example, Smaug has a lair in the Lonely Mountain, where he keeps his vast hoard of treasure. So, but the different types of dragons each have some unique characteristics about their layers. It could be about the region that it's in, so it could impact the way that the world around it behaves because of the magic exuded by the lair and by the dragon. So, for example, Black Dragon's lair, the land within 6 miles of the lake, or of the lair, takes twice as long as normal to traverse, since the plants grow thick and twisted and the swamps are thick with reeking mud. Or fog lightly obscures the land within 6 miles of the lair, so stuff like that. But if the dragon dies, then things have a lasting duration, stuff like that. There are actions that can occur within a certain distance of a lair as well. So lair actions on initiative count 20, losing initiative ties. The dragon takes a lair action to cause one of the following effects. The dragon can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. So there's a bunch of different things that they could do. So for example, this black dragon could have magical darkness spread from a point the dragon chooses within 60 feet of it, filling a 15-foot radius, where until the dragon dismisses it as an action or uses this lair action again, or dies. The darkness spreads around the corners. A creature with dark vision can't see through this darkness with non-magical light, and non-magical light can't illuminate it. So it's just absolute darkness that nothing can see through. If any of the effects area overlaps with an area of light created by a spell of second level or lower, the spell that created the light is also dispelled. So it can get rid of various things too. And that's just one example for black dragons. There's different things for blue dragons as well. The blue dragon's regional effects, they can cause thunderstorms, there are sinkholes, there can be dust devils, some of the actions, lots of lightning and things of that nature around blue dragon's lairs. Green dragons, here we are, green dragon's lair. There's a description for each of these as well within the monster manual. So forest-loving green dragons sometimes compete for territory with black dragons in marshy woods and with white dragons in subarctic taigas. However, a forest controlled by a green dragon is easy to spot. Perpetual fog hangs in the air, and I lost my spot. Hangs in the air in a legendary green dragon's wood, carrying an acrid whiff of the creature's poison breath. And there's various other descriptors. So there could be thickets all over the area. There's the fog mentioned. Rodents and birds behave a bit differently. They typically will serve the dragon in some capacity, behaving as spies or whatever else it needs. And then there can be various roots and things that are magical in nature that can cause all sorts of problems for adventurers trying to reach or already in the lair. Red dragons, they can have earthquakes, Lots of heat, obviously. So, for example, water sources within 1 mile of the layer are supernaturally warm and tainted by sulfur, so probably don't want to drink it. You can do lots of Earth-related things, seismic activity, magma, stuff of that nature. White dragons obviously have a focus on ice and cold, so there can be icy walls blocking things on the way to the lair. Freezing, so like lots of hail, blizzards, stuff like that. The layer actions, again, all ice-oriented, creating sheets of ice and difficult terrain and things of that nature. Then there's metallic dragons, so different kinds like that. There are also layers for those that aren't just the chromatic ones. Not going to read the whole book to you, but each one has its own thing: bronze, brass, copper, gold, silver, so on and so forth. And then unfortunately, dragon turtle does not count as a dragon, so they do not get their own layers, which is kind of lame. But yeah. So whether it be official things in like the dragon layers in Dungeons and Dragons, what are some ways that you have seen, official or homebrew, what are some ways that you have seen an integration of the environment that the players are in with the possible things they might be fighting or interacting with? It could be as simple as you're on the water, and then there's I don't know, merfolk or whatever, or elementals that can be adjusting the terrain around you in a very active way. It could be tainted by some kind of demon. It could be just anything like that, where the literal setting and terrain is being actively changed by monsters or even not monsters you're fighting. Could just be NPCs you're interacting with. Like some of them, like dragons, are intelligent and can be very conniving and obviously capable of speech. I want to hear about cool stories, because that's really what role-playing games are all about. It doesn't even have to be Dungeons and Dragons. It could be in anything, any storytelling tabletop role-playing game you've played, where the setting is being dictated in some capacity by what you are fighting in an active way. So leave those in the comments, or if you're in the Discord server, talk about discussion there. But that is me for today. I will see you tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of your day.